My wealthy uncle, who always called me the family disappointment, asked about my finances. When I told him, he asked me for a loan. I was stacking cans at the grocery store when my phone buzzed with a text from my cousin Rebecca. Family barbecue Sunday. Uncle Richard specifically asked if you're coming. Says he has something important to discuss. My stomach dropped. Uncle Richard never wanted to discuss anything with me except my failures. The last time we talked, he'd called me a waste of potential while handing out business cards at my grandmother's funeral. Rebecca sent another message with 3 crying, laughing emojis. He asked what you do for work now. I told him grocery store. He said figures and walked away shaking his head. That sealed it. I was definitely going to that barbecue. Uncle Richard owned half the commercial real estate in our small town. His construction company had built most of the strip malls and office complexes that lined the main highway. Every family gathering was the same performance. Him holding court in his designer polo shirt, talking about property values and tax shelters, while everyone nodded and laughed at his jokes. When I'd graduated college with a business degree, he'd said I should have studied something practical. When I'd taken the grocery store job, he'd said it proved he was right about my lack of ambition. My Aunt Carol would always defend me with weak smiles and comments about how everyone finds their path eventually. Sunday arrived. I drove to their mansion on Hillcrest Drive, parking my beat-up sedan between Rebecca's SUV and my cousin Daniel's BMW. The backyard was already crowded with extended family, the smell of expensive steaks. Uncle Richard was manning the grill, wearing a world's best boss apron that one of his employees had given him as a Christmas gift. He spotted me immediately and waved me over with a spatula. "Well, look who decided to show up," he announced loud enough for half the party to hear. "How's the grocery business treating you, kiddo?" The condescension dripped from every word. I forced a smile and grabbed a beer from the cooler, buying myself time to think of a response that wouldn't start a family war. "Can't complain," I said, taking a long sip. "Steady work, good benefits." Uncle Richard flipped a steak with unnecessary force. "Benefits," he repeated, like it was a dirty word. "You know what the best benefit is? Owning something. Building something that lasts. That's what separates the men from the boys in this world." My cousin Daniel appeared at my elbow, already 3 beers deep and looking uncomfortable. "Dad's been talking about expansion again," he said quietly. "Thinks he might open a location in the next county over." Uncle Richard's chest puffed up with pride. "Damn right I am. Just closed on another 40 acres last week. Going to be a shopping complex with anchor stores and everything. This family knows how to spot opportunity." He pointed his spatula at me again. "That's something you should think about, nephew. Getting in on the ground floor of something big instead of just collecting paychecks." The familiar shame started creeping up my neck. The same feeling I'd carried since childhood when he'd compare me to Daniel's academic achievements or Rebecca's successful marketing career. But this time felt different. This time, I had something he didn't know about. "Actually, Uncle Richard, I've been thinking about that a lot lately," I said, setting down my beer. "About building something that lasts." His eyebrows went up with surprise. It was probably the first time I'd ever engaged with one of his lectures instead of just taking it silently. "Really? Well, it's about time. What kind of business are you thinking about? Please tell me it's not another food truck or craft brewery. This town is lousy with those already." The rest of the family started drifting over, sensing a conversation that might actually be interesting. My Aunt Carol appeared with a plate of appetizers, her expression hopeful that maybe this family gathering wouldn't end in awkward tension for once. "Something in tech, actually," I said, keeping my voice casual. "Been working on it for about 18 months now." Uncle Richard's expression shifted slightly. He'd always been threatened by things he didn't understand, and technology definitely fell into that category. "Tech?" he repeated. "Like what? Building websites? Setting up computer networks?" I shook my head. "Software development, specifically logistics management systems for small to medium-sized businesses." Daniel looked impressed, despite himself. "That actually sounds pretty cool, cousin. How's it going?" Uncle Richard was still holding his spatula like a weapon, waiting for me to admit it was just another pipe dream that would fizzle out like my previous attempts at entrepreneurship. "It's been interesting," I said, pulling out my phone. "We actually just signed our biggest client last month." I showed them the email confirmation, watching Uncle Richard's eyes scan the numbers. His face went pale as he processed what he was seeing. Full story on my channel and linked below.